The episode starts with Bart has an adventure where he manages to grab Homer's jar of change to take to school. He runs outside, where Otto is waiting with the school bus. Bart gets on the bus, leaving Homer yelling angrily as the bus drives away. On the bus, Bart sees Milhouse playing with a magic 8-ball. Bart asks the ball,
"Will Milhouse and I be friends at the end of the day?"
which surprises both of them because they don't understand why. At school, a new girl named Samantha Stanky joins their class. She moved to Springfield from Phoenix. Milhouse likes her right away, and to Bart's annoyance, Samantha likes him back. They start spending all their free time together in Bart's treehouse, kissing. Bart doesn't care at first and uses the treehouse for fun while they're distracted. But when they keep kissing, Bart feels left out. He tries to spend time with Martin, but it doesn't work. Later, Samantha and Milhouse go to a movie about aliens, and Bart tags along. After the movie, Bart suggests other fun ideas, but Milhouse tells him to stop hanging out with them so much. Angry and hurt, Bart walks away and ends up crying in an alley. Soon after, Milhouse asks if he can still use Bart's treehouse. Bart agrees, but only after Milhouse mentions,
"If her father catches us, he'll kill her."
Bart agrees and smiles, already planning something. At home, Lisa watches a show about health problems caused by being overweight. She gets worried that Homer might not live long because of his weight. Lisa tells Marge to get a special tape to help Homer lose weight. But when the tape arrives, it's the wrong one. It's a vocabulary builder tape instead. Homer keeps eating even more than before, but he starts talking with lots of big words. When he realizes the tape isn't working, he throws it away, and his talking goes back to normal. Back at the treehouse, Bart tells Samantha's dad about her spending time with Milhouse. Her dad finds them in the treehouse and gets very angry. Before Samantha can say anything, her dad sends her to a strict school for girls called St. Sebastian's School for Wicked Girls. Bart thinks everything will go back to normal and asks Milhouse to go to the arcade, but Milhouse is too sad because Samantha is gone. Days go by, and Milhouse is still upset. Bart starts to feel bad for what he did. He asks Homer for advice, but Homer is mad about the tape and doesn't help. Bart then asks Lisa, and she tells him to be honest and admit what he did. Bart goes to Milhouse and says,
"Listen, Milhouse, I got a confession to make. I'm the one who knocked on your kissing."
Milhouse gets angry, and they start fighting. Milhouse's parents think the fight is funny. Bart ends the fight by hitting Milhouse with the magic 8-ball, breaking it. They stop fighting after that. Later, Milhouse visits Samantha at her new school. Bart apologizes to her, and she says,
"That's all right, Bart. I love St. Sebastian's."
She gives Milhouse a goodbye kiss, even though it's against the school rules. The episode ends with Homer in a funny picture wearing a graduation cap. The words say, Homer says, "Increase your wordiness," but Homer gives silly and wrong meanings for the words he learned. Moving on to the next one, named I Married Marge. It starts when Marge and Homer are nervous that Marge might be expecting another baby. They try a home pregnancy test, but it doesn't give a clear answer. So Marge goes to Dr. Hibbert's office. While she's away, Homer gathers Bart, Lisa, and Maggie and starts sharing the story of how he and Marge got married and had Bart. Homer's story begins in 1980, back when he worked at a mini golf course and was dating Marge. One night, after a date where they watched The Empire Strikes Back, they end up at the mini golf castle and make love. Not long after, Marge finds out she's pregnant. Homer proposes to Marge, and she happily says yes. They get married at a small chapel in a different state while Marge is already expecting. Their wedding night is spent at Marge's parents' house, sleeping on the living room couch. Marge's mom and sisters, who already dislike Homer, are not pleased. Homer struggles to earn enough money to support their growing family. He applies for a job at the Springfield nuclear power plant, but the interview goes terribly. Waylon Smithers, who is clearly biased, hires two fraternity brothers instead. Homer tries other jobs, but nothing works out. One job offer even turns out to be a scam. Things get worse when some of their baby supplies and Marge's wedding ring are repossessed. Feeling like a failure, Homer decides to leave so he can find a way to provide for Marge and their unborn baby. Marge is heartbroken and cries when she realizes he's gone. Homer leaves a letter for her, explaining why he left. But even in her sadness, Marge's sister Patty complains about Homer.
There, dear. We're all in shock. I thought he'd two-time you for a while first.
Homer finds work at a Gulp and Blow taco shop. While he's there, Patty and Selma discover him after Selma nearly chokes on a taco with hair in it. Patty, who hates Homer, decides not to tell Marge, saying it's better for her to find out through the society pages.
Should we tell Marge where he is? Nah, let her read about it in the society page.
Selma, however, feels sorry for both Marge and Homer and plans to tell her anyway. Eventually, Marge, now very pregnant, finds Homer and convinces him to come home. Homer is ashamed that he can't even afford a proper wedding ring for her, but Marge reassures him that any ring from him is perfect. Encouraged, Homer decides to try for a job at the power plant again. This time, he goes straight to Mr. Burns and boldly declares that he'll be the perfect employee.
If you're looking for the kind of employee who takes abuse and never sticks up for himself, I'm your man!
Mr. Burns is impressed by Homer's dramatic plea and hires him immediately. Homer, overjoyed, says,
Only in America could I get a job!
And skips with happiness. With his new job, he's able to buy back the baby items and Marge's wedding ring. When Homer gets back to Marge's house, he learns she's gone into labor and is already at the hospital. Marge's mom agrees to drive him there, but only if he promises never to call her mother again. At the hospital, Homer arrives just in time. Patty, as usual, makes a rude comment, saying Homer doesn't belong in the delivery room. Fed up, Homer yells at her to shut up. When Patty snaps back, calling him fat boy, Homer loses his temper and shouts at her, demanding respect. This outburst surprises and silences Patty. Homer then turns to Marge and tells her he finally got a good job. Marge gives birth without much trouble, except for Homer's brief attempt to help the doctor, which Marge stops by saying,
Homer, for God's sakes, let him deliver the baby.
After their son is born, they name him Bart. Bart immediately causes trouble by grabbing Homer's lighter and setting his tie on fire. Homer quickly puts it out in a glass of water and gets angry, insisting Bart did it on purpose. Marge, however, calmly reminds him that
How could he? He's only 10 minutes old.
Homer ends his story by saying,
The day you were born, I received the greatest gift a man could have.
and he's been lucky to have Lisa and Maggie as well. Marge comes home and tells everyone she's not pregnant. The whole family feels relieved and thankful. Next up, we have an episode called A Fish Called Selma. It begins where the Simpsons are watching a Muppet movie on TV when Bart jokes that one of the Muppets is made of leather. Marge corrects him, saying it's actually Troy McClure, a famous actor from the 70s. Marge adds that Troy was quite the heartthrob back in the day. But Homer reminds her of the rumors about him.
No, his bizarre personal life. Those weird things they say he does down at the aquarium.
Marge disagrees, saying Troy is a true gentleman. Meanwhile, Troy McClure's life isn't so glamorous anymore. He gets pulled over by Chief Wiggum for driving recklessly, which happens because he's not wearing his glasses. When Wiggum sees how Troy looks with his glasses on, he suggests Troy should get his license updated so he doesn't have to wear them anymore, but also hints for a bribe. Troy heads to the DMV to take the eye test. There, he struggles to read the letters and tells Selma, who is working there, that he can't risk people seeing him in glasses since his looks are so important to his career. He then offers to take Selma to dinner if she lets him pass the test. Selma, who's clearly smitten, agrees right away. After their dinner at the Pimento Grove, photographers catch Troy leaving with Selma. Since rumors about Troy's romantic life had hurt his career in the past, the media is surprised to see him with a human woman. The photos make the news the next day, and Homer and his coworkers talk about it.
Maybe those rumors about his fish fetish weren't true after all.
Later, Troy's agent calls him and says this could be a fresh start for his career if he keeps dating Selma. Troy begins seeing Selma regularly to improve his image. Even when she gets kicked out of a restaurant for smoking, he joins her in the parking lot with a cigar. At his agent's suggestion, Troy proposes to Selma. Marge is thrilled about the engagement, but Patty doesn't approve. Troy's career starts improving, and he lands a part in Planet of the Apes, the musical, which becomes a big hit. Eventually, Selma moves in with Troy, though they don't sleep in the same bed. The Simpsons are even invited to a pool party at Troy's house. The night before the wedding, a drunk Troy confesses to a drunk Homer that he's only marrying Selma to boost his career. Homer is shocked but keeps quiet. At the wedding, when Reverend Lovejoy asks if anyone objects, Homer distracts himself by making gibberish noises in his head
Hey!
to avoid blurting out the truth. After the wedding, Homer casually tells Marge
Apparently, he doesn't really love Selma, and the marriage is just a sham to help his career.
Marge and Patty try to warn Selma, but she accuses them of being jealous and having the green-eyed gazungas. Later, Marge convinces Selma to confront Troy. When she asks him about it, Troy openly admits their marriage is just for show and meant to help his career. He even tries to reassure Selma, saying she's benefited too. At first, Selma accepts the situation. Troy's agent then suggests that having a child could help Troy get even bigger roles, like being McBain's sidekick in McBain for Fatal Discharge. Troy and Selma prepare to have a baby, but Troy hesitates because of his bizarre fish fetish, a secret that had hurt his career in the past. He admits he's uncomfortable and says having a baby is too much work. Selma explains that a baby isn't about work. It's supposed to be a way to show love in a relationship. Realizing this, Selma decides it's wrong to bring a child into a loveless marriage and leaves Troy. Later, a tabloid show announces that Troy turned down the McBain role to direct and star in his own movie, The Contrabulous Fabtraption of Professor Horatio Huffnagel, produced by 20th Century Fox. But because most big roles go to actors with families, his new movie might not do well. With this, we're signing off on today's video. Hope you like and enjoy it. And for more crispy Simpson-related videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.